First, a simple answer to that question is sure, it's going to slow down. This is the short run, and it's a good thing to go slow down, particularly from over 10%, a bit overheated situation, down to 9%, maybe lower than 9%, say 8 to 9%. It's a good thing, right? You prevented the further overheating, and you make the growth more stable. So for the short run, it's not only sure it will be going down, but also it's good to going down. It's going down by hard landing. This is a question asked for a lot of people around. I think this should be the question 1 year before, right? 1 year before, we were worried. We were worried about hard landing because when the economy is still at the 10%, more than 10%, you're worried if that situation would continue, then you may have a crash and you may have a hard landing. But after 1 year of tightening, policy tightening, and soft landing always on the way, the question is, out of date. I think it's too late for the information, right, to ask that question now. And I'm quite confident that the economy is soft landing at the moment. And I believe it will be good for Chinese economy for the next couple of years. So if now soft landing achieved, including the real estate, I'm not going to talk about the real estate market, but real estate market also soft landing. So as long as the soft landing achieved, it's good for the next couple of years. Then, of course, this question, I believe this question is about the long term. It's not about short term. Long term, when China will stop, actually, the growth, or growth rate will go down to somewhere, not really continue to be regarded as a high growth. Well, we regard high growth, sustainable growth now for China. We call it potential growth. Now it's something like 8%. And after 10 years, maybe 7%, so-called potential. Well, first of all, to answer this question, for me, is that I really hope China can continue for another 10, 20, even 30 years for the high growth, like 7, 8, maybe later on a little bit lower. The reason is that we are still far away from completion of industrialization and the urbanization and the modernization. There are still at least 200,000 rural labor forces, depending mainly on agriculture. Without the further relocation, further job creation, say 1 year created 6 million, 7 million to those people, China will always have a group of people living in poor standard, and the social disparity will continue to enlarge rather than narrow down. So the difficulties for those kind of things really depend on further growth and further job creation and further job relocation. So that's my hope as Chinese economist. And secondly, is that possible for further growth? Well, it's possible. Well, calculating all the factors, maybe labor is not that cheap compared to past 30 years. But the other factors may play more roles, like education, like research, like innovation. Past 30 years, Chinese company, of course, not really very innovative. They were just the beginners, right? They just try to catch up, they try to learn, and try to be close to the frontier. When you are not in the frontier, you don't have real innovation. So they try to learn, maybe try to copy something, but that's a process of progress. And the next 20, 30 years, maybe that kind of things will play more roles. And put them all together, saving is still high, capital is not a problem. And urbanization still creates the demand. The market is still there. If other things can really increase domestic household consumption, the demand is still there, the supply factors, those growth factors are still there. So it's possible. And a simple comparison with with Korea, for example, with Taiwan, they got 30 years, more than 30 years high growth. And they are together, the four small dragons, including Hong Kong, in 80s only have 50 million population, right? And China is 1.3 billion. But simple comparison, if Korea can grow 30, 40 years, 60 years for China is not unlikely.